Hello everybody, this is Wheels on Wheels again, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can make your Mark III Focus ST go from sounding like this to sounding like this for just £27 using a Resonator delete pipe. This one's from eBay. It comes with all the necessary hardware. This job should be exactly the same on the Focus ST hatchback. This one is the Estate, but the hatchback should be exactly the same as well, or very similar. So let's get started. Okay, so the tools you're going to need to do this job: you're going to need a trolley jack and axle stand to jack the car up with. You're going to need a wheel chock just to make sure the car doesn't roll away when you jack the car up, and you're going to need something to cut the old Resonator off with. So you can either use a reciprocating saw, this is what I'm going to try and do, or you can use a exhaust pipe cutter like this. And then of course you're going to need something to tighten up the clamps with. This is a 13mm spanner. I'm probably going to use a 13mm socket actually.
Hey, it's Wheels for the Future here. So I ended up using a few more tools than what I've mentioned here. I ended up using an angle grinder to clean up some of the imperfections in the cut because I used the reciprocating saw. If you use the exhaust cutter though, you won't have that problem. And also I used an electric sander to clean up some of the rust from the exhaust. But you don't need an electric sander, you can just use sandpaper.
Right, let's get started by jacking up the car. Okay guys, so just a reminder to use a chock for the wheels to make sure the car doesn't roll away when you jack it up. So I'm just going to put that under the wheel now. So what you want to do is jack up one side of the car. As you can see, I've jacked up the rear left-hand side of the car, and now I'm just going to go and do the front left, and that should give us good access. You want to get the car as high as possible. Obviously you want it to be safe, so make sure you are using proper axle stands, but yeah, you want it as high as possible for the best chance at getting at the Resonator.
Hey you, yeah you, you're watching the video but you're not subscribed, so please press the subscribe button down below to subscribe to the channel and I'll make it worth your while.
Okay, so we've got the car jacked up on one side as high as it will go. Let's have a look underneath and see if we can get the old Resonator off. So underneath the car, this is our Resonator right here. It's quite close to the front of the car actually, so if anything you want to jack up the front of the car slightly more than the rear, but just the whole side is fine. And yeah, so that gets replaced with that, but the other way around. So I'm going to put on my goggles and I'm going to start cutting. So for now I'm just going to cut either side of the Resonator, just not too far, just at the edge of where the pipe meets the Resonator. Oh dear, I haven't cut that very straight, have I? Oh well, it should be okay. Right, time to do the other side, I suppose.
Much later. A few moments later.
Okay, that one wasn't really working, so I've put in a new blade. Although I've put it in the wrong way. That's great.
More moments later.
Right, that's better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something underneath this to support it, because obviously it's going to collapse once it's cut off. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I've just used this little bottle jack and a bit of wood. Should help hold it up. It may still come crashing down, but oh well. Right, that is one big heavy Resonator removed. So as you can see, this cut went pretty well. That's pretty straight. The other one went terribly. But you know, it should be okay. There's quite a lot of length on the delete pipe, so it should be okay. But this may be another case of do as I say, not do as I do. So now this old resonator is out of the way, which by the way is really heavy. It's probably about 15 kilos. So if you're looking to save weight on your Focus ST, start with this. But yes, now that's out the way, it's time for the obligatory startup without an exhaust, because who isn't curious to hear what that sounds like? I'm sure it will sound horrific, but let's find out. So here we go. Here goes nothing. Wow. Wow, that was pretty loud. You can really hear that turbo. So yeah, didn't sound as bad as I thought, to be honest. It was quite loud, but sounded all right. Nah, it didn't really. Anyway, let's get started with this resonator delete pipe. So I'm just gonna fit it up. I'm just gonna sort of put it in position to see how it sits and see if we've left enough pipe. Hopefully we have, and then go from there. And they also provide you in the kit the clamps required, a 60 and a 70mm U-bolt clamp, and a whole bottle of exhaust paste, which is amazing. All for £27. What a bargain. So I've offered up the delete pipe, but unfortunately it won't quite slide on because there are a few rough bits. This is because I've used the reciprocating saw. If you use an exhaust pipe cutter, it doesn't do this, but you can see you've got little burrs and stuff. So I'm just going to smooth off the edge using this sander here. So as you can see, we've now got a much smoother finish. I've just got to do the same to the other side. So this side goes on there no problem. This side I'm still struggling a little bit with, and I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's because I've cut it too short. Because as this pipe comes out of the resonator, it steps down slightly, and I've cut it too short, so it's actually a little bit wider here than it is, say, about there. So I'm just going to cut it a little bit shorter again. Right, I am actually just going to use an angle grinder now to cut it slightly shorter, because it's quite hard to cut just a little tiny bit with the reciprocating saw, because it tends to have a mind of its own. So it's, yeah, it's not so easy. So I'm just going to use the grinder for this. Okay, take two. Let's try this again now, cut it a bit shorter. There we go. Goes in. It's a tight fit, but that's what you want. So tight that I can't even get it back out. I wanted to put a bit of exhaust paste on it. Oh, for goodness sake. I actually can't get it back off. I actually can't get it back off. That's got to be a good thing, right? good. God, wow. Wow, that is a very tight fit, which is exactly what you want. I'm going to get some of the exhaust paste and we'll fit it up. Right, so this is the exhaust paste that they give you, and I'm just going to put a healthy amount of it all around the inside of these fittings. Okay, back under the car again now. I've put the exhaust paste on the inside of this pipe. Let's just see if we can get it to fit. I'm just using this wooden mallet to tap it on. Okay, so that's the back side on. So this is going to require the whole exhaust sort of moving backwards in order to just slot it over the front piece now. Okay, so now that the Resonator delete is in place, it's time to put the U-clamps on. Now, the best way to position these is not like that, because obviously that can hang quite low, and if you've got a lowered car especially, this will then ground out on the ground. You don't want that. So the best way to do it, I find, is to just have them off to the side, and most of the time you'll still have enough access to do the nuts up. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can just do this with a spanner, but an electric ratchet really helps. So these are 13mm nuts. Okay, so now that the clamps are tightened down, you want to start the engine up to make sure there are no leaks. So I'll just do that now. That is sounding so good. Right, let's not get distracted. So what you want to do is just put your hand around all of the joints and also listen out for any leaks. So generally, you should be able to feel for any leaks just by putting your hand around the joints. It'll be pretty obvious, and you want to make sure you do this quickly before the exhaust gets too hot. That is absolutely fine. There is no leaks there whatsoever. Job done. Out with the old, in with the new. Resonator delete pipe fitted, all working fine. There's no leaks. It's a really good quality kit, to be honest. For the price you pay, £27, it's pretty good. So the only thing left to do now is to give it a test drive. So let's go. Okay, here we are on the test drive, and I can confirm that it sounds a lot better. It's still absolutely fine when cruising volume wise, but when you step on the gas, it sounds like an ST should. This is how they should have come out of the factory, in my opinion. Overall, my review of that kit from eBay, which I'll leave a link for down in the description, 10 out of 10. You cannot fault it for the price. You genuinely can't. It gives you everything you need to do the job, minus the tools, obviously, but it gives you all the hardware that you need to do the job. And it's supposedly stainless steel, and it's £27. £27. I don't know how they make the money. How do they make any money on that? It must just be some Focus ST altruism. There's no other way they can be making that much money on that, I don't think. But anyway, just going to give it a blast now with the window down so I can hear it. Can definitely hear it. I would say it's hard to hear over the Symposer. Maybe my next thing will be removing that sound Symposer or deleting it. Although it definitely does sound better. Woo! That sounds a lot better. So thank you guys so very much for watching. If you like this video, please do like it, and if you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it, consider subscribing. It really helps me out. But for now guys, I'll catch you later.